It is Thursday, the 13th of August, 2020. I don't care who you are. That Cardi B song, Wet Ass Pussy, is catchy as hell. And it's also flat out bonkers fucking hilarious. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. All that. There's no hoes in this house. This is a hoeless house. All that and so much more on episode number 29 of Complaints and Observations.
The greatest podcast hosted by someone who knows so precious little about almost everything. A journey into the mediocre mind of an exceptionally average person. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
Seriously, that is my current favorite song. If you haven't listened to it, you're missing out. It's an absolute fucking gem. It is so goddamn funny. It's ridiculous. I think I've listened to it like a dozen times this morning. And honestly, another funny part is that these, whiny conservatives and new age PMRC folks, like all of a sudden that's a thing again. Like that little bitch Ben Shapiro. Fuck off, you little fucking douchebag. Grift City. Good for you. I'm glad you're making money, but fuck yourself. I'm kind of pissed off that I'm like a week late on this. Apparently it came out like last Wednesday or last Friday. I don't recall which, but I'm a lame ass 42-year-old white guy, so I'm a little slow on the uptake, but I may have to start getting into more Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. I love the THEE in Megan Thee Stallion. I wonder if Megan the Stallion was taken. I don't know. Again, I'm out of touch. I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not that out of touch. For a guy in his 40s, I don't think I'm that out of touch. No, I really don't. I spend a lot of time on Twitter, so I like to think I understand what's going on. But yeah, got a kick out of that. That song is fucking phenomenal. And I could listen to that 18,000 more times today. I could. Anyways, what's going on? Yeah, me too. Not much. Usually before these shows, I will spend a little time on the various news sites around the interwebs and try to get an idea of what's going on, but it is so fucking hard. Like, you can't find just news anymore. Everybody's got a fucking slant. CNN's got a slant. Fox News has a slant, which is, borderline lying. But again, Fox News entertainment, what they call themselves. So, they can do what they want. Good for you. The BBC, also has a slant, and a lot of it is English, and it doesn't really pertain to me. However, I was on the BBC website this morning, and there's a story here that says U.S. calls for shower rules to be eased after Trump hair complaints. Really? This fucking... as if he, like... I can't. I just can't. We're a politically agnostic podcast. Remember that. But this fucking guy talking about shower heads in his hair, honestly, Fuck out of here, man. Come on. Come on. 2.5 gallons a minute apparently is not enough. He needs more. Ugh. I can't. Anyway. What else? What else has gone on? My hip hurts. It's hurt for the last couple days. Let's go back to talking about being a fucking fat 42-year-old douchebag. I'm going to cry about my hip. It fucking kills. Couldn't sleep last night. It hurt so fucking bad. Couldn't sleep on my fucking right side because my hip hurt so bad. Gross. That's, par for the course with this guy. But what else can we talk about? I had mentioned last show that I was going to post a blog about college football. But so much shit has happened over the course of the last couple of days that now it seems like it's a rather moot point. The gist of the post was going to be, about the NCAA fucking being terrible, how the kids were kind of banding together to start like a players association / union. But that has sort of fallen by the wayside as all of these conferences, not all, but a lot of them start canceling. And it's the Power Five that are doing some of the canceling, and some of them, like the Big Ten, for example. For the uninitiated, that's like Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and then a bunch of crap. They've canceled their season. Except, you got a lot of coaches around the country that are saying, "Oh, we're here. We're going to practice. We're going to play. Blah 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 blah." Scott Frost, who's the head coach at Nebraska, he's basically said, because apparently the president at Nebraska was one of the 14 presidents voted no to cancel. It was like him and I think Iowa. So 2 fucking backwater states, flyover states with more cows than people, voted to play football in the middle of a pandemic. Okay, yeah, that's cool. If you want to do that, it's all right. Essentially trying to go rogue with Nebraska as if they've been relevant for the last 2 decades, which they haven't. They've been terrible. They used to be in the Big 12. The Big 12, who has announced that they're going to play. They're moving forward with their season. But Nebraska used to be in the Big 12. The Big 12, which currently has 10 teams. Go figure. Nebraska left to go to the Big 10, which currently has 14. Also go figure. As if the names, the Big 10 and the Big 12, are so sacred that they can't fucking change the name to reflect the number of actual teams in your fucking conference. Stupid. But you've had some folks, some coaches and administrators and whatnot saying that, these kids would be, quote unquote, safer staying at school. And it honestly kind of makes a tidbit of sense, but it's only a bit of sense. That way, if they stay in school and they're still practicing, you can sort of control that bubble, that environment, because it's not as if college campuses are going to be filled with college students. Most of these places are going to be remote learning. A touchy subject for a lot of folks. I have no skin in the game, so quite frankly, I don't give a shit. That's just me. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. It's one of the things that really fucking fried my asshole was the head coach at UMass, whose name eludes me at the moment. Hold on. I will find it. His name, Walt Bell. Walt Bell, head coach, UMass football. The University of Massachusetts at Amherst. Zoo Mass. Yep, UMass. UMass and their 31-85 record since 2009. Had a quote yesterday about canceling the season. He said, quote, my dad passed away in 2008. My biological mom OD'd in 2012. And to be honest with you, this is probably a tougher day than both of those. End quote. I tweeted out earlier on Complaints Pod, at Complaints Pod on Twitter, either Walt Bell hated his parents or he is a concrete-brained dullard. I don't know the man, so I can't really jump to conclusions. It sounds to me as if he really didn't give a fuck about his parents. Because if he thinks that him having to cancel/postpone a college football season is worse than his parents dying, yowzer. Doesn't say much for old Walt Bell, which is a fucking terrible name. Walt Bell. You at fucking UMass football. Look, they're trying to build a Division I program, but unless you went to that school, no one around here really gives a fuck. Seriously. Stop trying so hard. Go back to 1AA where you could, do well. You can still attract local talent, because it's not as if there's a lot of fucking, talented high school players going to, warm weather schools. So the SEC, the Pac-10 or Pac-12, whatever the fuck they're called now out in the West Coast. Down south into Texas, like there aren't a ton of kids being recruited out of New England to play for those schools. The kids that are playing football in New England are going to UMass, URI, UConn, Maine, BC. That's where they're going. But look, nobody around here cares about college football. It's a pro area, just the way it is. College basketball, a little bit more, just because they've had some success around here in college basketball. So, okay, I get that. Matt Ryan took BC to number 2 in the country, and we barely cared. They got to number 2, and then they got fucking waxed the first game that they were number 2. I want to say they lost to Notre Dame. I can't recall specifically, but they got fucking waxed. So, enough. Walt Bell of UMass. And look, it's unfair. I should have done a little bit more digging into Walt Bell's past to find out about his parents. But, let's slow down on the this is the worst day of my life thing. I don't get it. And I don't pretend to get it, so there you go. Walt Bell, UMass football. That was very mature of me. Very mature. What else? So there were, I had a handful of things that I wanted to talk about today, but nothing really, I don't know, important, funny, good, I guess. Started watching Hard Knocks last night on HBO. Fucking Sean McVay, the coach of the Rams, for the uninitiated. What a fucking annoying guy. God. Football. Like, I guess you have to be that way when you're a football coach, but Jesus fucking Christ, shut up. We all know you love football. If you didn't, you wouldn't be there. Idiot. And you know what he is? He's an unfunny John Gruden. That's Sean McVay in a nutshell. Works for a team that fucking gave Jared Goff, who's not a good quarterback, weighs so much fucking money that he's fucked his team for the next 5 years. Dumb. Anyway, couple things I wanted to talk about. Not a couple things, couple people. Mainly because it's my show, and this is the kind of shit that I like to talk about. There aren't too many things that I thoroughly enjoy on, on television. I've talked about television before and how I don't really give a shit. And I think I mentioned during that little bit that I watch Guy Fieri an awful lot. I like the guy. Let's talk about Guy Fieri. A lot of people give this guy a ton of shit, a ton of flack, because he's got stupid hair. And look, I'll be the first to admit it. I can't believe he still has it, because you would think he would have fried it off by now from all the bleach or peroxide or hair dye or whatever it is. I mean, I dyed my hair blonde when I was 20 or 21. And it was terrible. It was an awful look. But look, Guy Fieri, aside from being, a chef and entertaining, honestly, it's funny. I've talked about The Rock the other day and his, just a general overall good dude. Guy Fieri might be an even better dude than The Rock. And that's tough. That's fucking tough to do. But he could be. He's featured over 1,300 restaurants on Triple D, diners, drive-ins, and dives. And if you've paid attention, you know that the amount of attention that these places get from being on the show is by far the most amongst similar shows. I don't really think there's any similar shows now. Well, no, there probably are. They're all ripoffs of Triple D, like Phantom Gourmet, for example. Very similar. Also has my guess is that they have a very the restaurant owners in some cases would have a similar reaction where they're on the show, all of a sudden there's an uptick. However, probably not as douchey as the Andaman brothers. Over 1,300 restaurants in, I think it's 13 years, something like that. And he's had a hand in helping out all of these people, small businesses, the mom and pop joints, small town America. Very wholesome. Recently, with the National Restaurant Foundation, started a relief fund that has raised over $25 million, granted to over 43,000 people in increments of $500 to sort of help out the folks at work in restaurants because of the pandemic and all the bullshit that's gone on with that. Look, not a ton of money, but honestly, it was organized by one guy. This was him. He fucking got the ball rolling, and now they're up over $25 million donated from individual donors, corporations. It's incredible. He's a champion of the LGBT community. Once officiated a massive wedding for 101 gay and lesbian couples. Reverend Fieri. He and I are brothers in arms. Father Guy. He organized and prepared and served meals for firefighters and first responders during the California wildfires over the course of the last few years. Also did the same for frontline workers during the COVID crisis here. Now, one thing I did not know until I started, doing a little bit more research here is that for every episode of Triple D, he makes sure that a Make-A-Wish kid is in attendance. 368 shows, so he's granted 368 wishes just from doing that, going city to city and bringing a Make-A-Wish kid to the filming of the show. Unbelievable. I had no idea. I did know that he's worked with Best Buddies for a very long time. On par with Tom Brady, I would imagine. And I would even imagine that Guy Fieri is a bigger celebrity than Tom Brady, hands down. More normal people, quote unquote, would probably know him than Tom Brady. A lot of people probably heard of Tom Brady, but how many people know Tom Brady? A lot of people. More people know Guy Fieri. Guaranteed. And look, at this point, you should know all these things, but I've been a fan of his for a long time. Could never understood the hate and ridicule that was directed his way, just because his fashion sense was terrible and his hair was awful. But I love the guy, and everybody else should too. And it's my fucking show, so I'll talk about whatever I want. And now I'm hungry. You know who else we could talk about? Rick Steves. I don't think my wife gets it, why I like this guy so much, but I love fucking Rick Steves. She likes the show. His Rick Steves Europe on PBS. She enjoys the show. At least she pretends to. But the guy's an absolute gem. He comes across like such a dad, and like such a I don't know, almost like a pastor. Apparently, I don't know if he is or not, but he's big in, I think it's Lutheran church. Go pray to Luther. But he takes people to places that they wouldn't normally get to see. He's brilliant because he sort of does that to scout for his European travel and tour company that is wildly successful and horrifically expensive. It is unbelievably expensive. But he's another incredibly philanthropic guy, advocating for a number of different charities, giving money all over the place. Public TV, Bread for the World, the National MS Society. And apparently, a few years ago, he donated a $4 million property in the Seattle area to the YWCA to house at-risk and homeless families. $4 million. Apparently, he bought it as an investment property back in the 90s. Had it and then donated it. It's awesome. He is also a huge weed guy. Massive weed guy. Now, apparently, not a big time smoker, but he advocates for the legalization of marijuana, the legalization of hemp, the production of hemp. Big time supporter, donator to Normal, which is the group that advocates for the same. And he's also donated a lot of money to the Seattle Hemp Fest. Good stuff. Big weed guy. And rightfully so. Weed. The way the country fucking handles marijuana, cannabis in general, is ludicrous. It's probably the best word for it. Absolutely ludicrous. We got people sitting in jail for selling weed. Give me a fucking break. I could go on a tangent here. I want to save weed for another show. I'd like to do like an entire weed episode. Talk to lifelong smokers, growers, business folk. This is a tie-in to my buddy Evan, who is a who's in the weed business, but as a side gig. But it's fascinating as fuck. Like that industry as a whole is fascinating. So that'll be on right after the Dawson's Creek episode, the weed episode. Anywho, yeah, check out this terrible commercial. All right, so it is Time for the newest weekly segment here on Complaints and Observations. It is the Jackie Paidley Jr. Lock of the Week.
All right, it is Jackie Paidley Jr. calling in with my UFC lock parlay for Saturday, August 15th on ESPN Plus. Okay, we have, I'm going to butcher these names. You're going to do a 3-team parlay. Stipe Miocic, he's minus 105. Vince Pichel, minus 130. And Felice Herrig, plus 215. $10 on that gets you 98.81. I hit a 6-fight parlay last Saturday for $10, 109. And Felice Herrig's also my dog of the night at plus 215, and not too bad looking for a female fighter. All right, that's it. I'm out.
Honestly, there's so much to dissect there. So much to dissect there. The best part is that going back and forth for Jack on this today, he claims to be the the UFC expert. Is he self-proclaimed UFC expert? But it's Stipe Miocic. So awesome. It's fucking phenomenal. Stipe. Anyways, UFC 252 this Saturday night. Stipe Miocic. Daniel Cormier. 3. No other sort of heavyweight. I don't know if there's any other heavyweight trilogies in UFC. I don't know. I have to do a little digging. But this is the third fight. Or fight. Not fright. Fight. Fuck, you're a dummy. Third fight. Hence trilogy, right? But, I ask him, look, lock of the week. He gives me fucking parlays. I hope he wins. But, ain't happening. There's just no fucking way. That's not to say that I don't like the bets. I think Cormier wins. But honestly, it's a fucking coin toss, this fight. He has Jim Miller losing, which I'm not the biggest fan of, only because I love when these old guys fight. And I say old guys. Jim Miller's 36. He's younger than me. But in UFC, he's an old guy. Yeah, he's almost 40. Jim Miller, big fan, good fighter. Junior Dos Santos is also on the card. Another old guy. We've already had one bout postponed because of the Rona. So a light heavyweight bout between a Russian fella, Magomed Ankalaev, taking on Ion. I can't, this dude's last name, Cute Leba, but I don't think that's how it's pronounced. Anyways, Ion caught the fucking Rona, so he's out. So that fight, dunzo. There are some good fights on this card. The problem with MMA is that these guys come from all over the planet, and holy shit, their names are so bad. So I can't fault Jack for messing up the names. Stipe is from Cleveland, so he's not foreign. He's just got a weird name. So I think he's Croatian. But I mean, you shouldn't call yourself a UFC expert if you can't fucking pronounce Stipe Miocic. Come on now. 2-time heavyweight champ. Stipe Miocic. But there are some good fights. Herbert Burns, who's down further on the undercard, a Brazilian kid, fantastic fighter. There's a couple of women's fights in here. As you heard, Jack likes Felice Herrig. Said she was an attractive young lady. It's not what he said, but we are a family program. So I had to edit out what he actually said. So fucking uncouth, Jackie. Can't have that shit on my program. Won't have it. He likes Felice Herrig. So plus 215, good value, especially, she's the ranked 15th ranked strawweight and her opponent is unranked. But looks like a bit of a mismatch where her opponent is 15-1, Felice is 14-8. No real physical advantage between the two. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. There are literally no statistics for the woman that she's fighting, which, that doesn't bode well. So it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. I might fade Jackie Paidley. Fuck. God damn it. I've been talking for fucking 40 minutes. You'd think I could figure this out by now. Fuck. I'm going to fucking fade Jackie Paidley Jr. And I might do a parlay of literally all the opposite of his picks here. He's got a three team parlay. Stipe, Pichel, who's fighting Jim Miller, and Felice Herrig. So I think I'm going to go Daniel Cormier, Jim Miller, and Jandiroba, who is the opponent for Miss Herrig. We'll see how this plays out. The lock of the week so far is 0-1. 0-1. I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be 0-2 by the time Monday rolls around. But, yeah. Good stuff. I hit on the Champions League game yesterday, the PSG game. I took PSG to win, even money. I also took the over. So that was good. It was a good payout there. Today, another Champions League matchup. Atletico Madrid and Leipzig out of the Bundesliga. I like Madrid at plus 120 to win, and then I like the under. It's under 2. So my hope is that Madrid wins 1-0. We'll see. I'm not going to call that a lock. It's not really a lock. I don't do locks. I do guesses. I do horribly uneducated guesses. That's what I do. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But fun weekend up ahead. Hopefully, have some. Jeez, I just need to fucking end this, huh? Man. Short show this week because I can't fucking talk, apparently. This weekend is the birthday celebration for my friend Stephanie, who is my buddy Jeff's wife. So a shout out, happy birthday, Steph. Doing stuff with the friends, going to dinner, probably some other stuff. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But it'll be a good time. It always is. Spending time with friends is always fun. Thoroughly enjoy it. Playing golf tomorrow. I played golf Tuesday. Holy fuck. God, did I play bad. I shot a 104. Like, I just can't get out of my own fucking way in this fucking sport. It drives me nuts. Like, I know what I need to be doing, and I still can't fucking do it. I just get so petrified. I am just so in my head. as with everything else in my life, I am so fucking deep inside my own fucking head. Oh, it's just brutal. Playing again tomorrow. That'll be 4 rounds in a week, which for me is quite a bit. So I am I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm trying not to tell myself that it's a massive waste of money, even though in the grand scheme of things it's a massive waste of money considering I'm unemployed. But holy fuck. I like it. I like playing, but I really shouldn't play because I'm terrible. I should take all the money that I've spent on actual rounds of golf and get lessons and go to the driving range. That's how I should be doing it. But that's not as fun. That's not as fun. The actual playing golf, playing around with your friends is fun. I like the clothes. I'm a big golf clothes guy. Like if I had a job and too much money, I would be blowing it on fucking clothes. So it's kind of good that I don't. I just bought a couple of shirts and a hat. Great price. So how could I not? Right? Right? Ugh. Fucking stupid. I made it through the second. I told you this the other day. I made it through the second round of interviews with a company, and I still haven't heard anything back from them. So, getting nervous. Mainly because one, I know I could do this job and I could do it well, and two, I really want to go back to work. Like I'm fucking. This not working thing is not good. Don't like it. So we'll see. But listen, have yourselves a tremendous weekend. I hope you enjoyed my program today. Do yourselves a favor. Go listen to Cardi B's Wet Ass Pussy because it is a great fucking song. I'm planning on listening to this shit constantly. Honestly, it's the fucking catchiest shit ever. Oh, it is so fucking funny. Oh my goodness. But yeah, enjoy your weekend. Please tell your friends about the show. Please. If you want a sticker, let me know. Still have them. Still have them. I'll send you some. You can stick it on your laptop. You can give it to your kids to put on their book covers for when they go back to school. If they go back to school. Do they still have books? I don't know. You can throw it up on a stop sign so that when someone gets real close to the stop sign, they can squint and might see what it says. Or you can give them to your friends. Don't know. But listen, enjoy your weekend. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. I missed the whole fucking marketing part. I'm not cut out for this. I changed the Instagram handle. It is no longer Complaints and Observations Pod. It is strictly Complaints Pod. Complaints Pod on Instagram. I currently have 69 followers. Nice. Complaints Pod on Twitter. I think I have about fucking 5 followers. It's about the number of fucking listeners I have. There is a Facebook page, but fuck Facebook. There is a YouTube page. I don't know if I want to actually record myself doing the show. I think once hopefully I get some guests, then we'll do that, but we'll see. Complaints and show mail at complaintsandobservations.com. There is the website, complaintsandobservations.com. I might put up a blog tomorrow that won't have anything to do with college football. I say this every week, but who the fuck knows? But that's it. Okay, now take care of yourself. Take care of each other. There's some hoes in the house. There are some hoes in this house. Godspeed. Ta-ta. Nope, hold on. Wait, now. Ta-ta.